let's see some cards and then you can say something cool. Okay.
I was trying to remember the beginning of the Rising Zan theme song. I was like, there's nothing cooler than that. He learned that evil was bigger than his gun. MarshMaster is on the left, and DolorousFred is on the right. I think, because text does not show up so well when Maurice's Discord screen share is lagging. So I can't really tell you exactly what the win rates are. Hold on, I'll pull up the...
I can change the quality to 30 FPS, maybe it's better.
Yeah, it is a little better. 69% win rate from MarshMaster is
nice.
A very high number, and yeah, it's a nice number. But not too much experience. Joined in Mystery Tournament 14, so this is just their third time out here. And then DolorousFred with, I mean, maybe wins Best Avatar Award, right? I think so.
It's pretty good.
Went 0-2 in Mystery Tournament 15 and is back for more.
One thing I like about WiiWare is there's a chance that you get like a box art with transparency. It looks cool.
Yeah, that's true. Get some PNGs in here.
Yeah. Checkerboard.
I hate that people have started doing fake checkerboards behind their stuff. It's just purely to troll, right? There's no other reason to do that.
Well, it's clickbaiting, I guess.
I guess.
There's a monetary reason for it, like every bad thing on the internet.
Just like every bad thing in the world.
Yeah, money poisons the mind.
Don't cost no money to join Mystery Tournament.
Yeah, that's true. We're the good guys.
Yeah. I mean, you do need, like, probably like a computer and a bunch of peripherals.
Sometimes I tell people,
connection.
oh, programming is a cool hobby because it's free. But then, I mean, is it free? Kind of like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Is a computer, like, do you just assume people have a computer the way that you assume they have a refrigerator?
Or a phone. People always assume I have one.
Yeah. I wonder what like, if it was like Family Feud, like, what is something everyone has in their home or whatever, and it's like
toilet paper.
No, yeah.
It's
well, I don't know.
Like,
that runs out sometimes.
Would you say something electrical?
I feel like everyone's got to have a fridge. I don't know how to live without a fridge.
I mean, yeah, fridge is pretty important. What are you gonna eat? Bread?
I even put bread in the fridge after
in
a
the
little
fridge?
bit anyway. Yeah.
I know people who freeze their bread, which apparently makes sense.
Bread goes bad too quickly.
Okay.
You gotta, like, if you buy like a whole loaf of bread, the way that I don't know, maybe you have smaller loaves in Germany.
Oh.
This is not a fantastic conversation.
Are you insulting the size of my loaves?
No, I mean, you probably have reasonable sized loaves for, like, people who don't eat so much damn food all the time, sort of thing.
I heard when you talk about bread, you mean toast. So what you call bread, the white stuff that you make a sandwich out of, that is toast to us. And then
it's toast to you.
Yeah, and then when you toasted it, it's just toasted toast. And then bread is like the brown bread. Corn bread.
I didn't follow you on this at all. Cornbread? Now you're going somewhere else. You went in like 5 different directions on it. There's bread, and you put the bread in the toaster, and it becomes toast.
but that's toast already for us. Like the type of bread is called toast.
The soft squishy bread, you call that toast?
Yeah, the white one. With like the white inside.
Well, yeah. Well, we also, I mean, there's brown bread, there's rye bread, there's other kinds of breads.
Yeah, but like that specific type of bread is just toast. If you say bread, no one will think of toast in Germany. You have to specifically say toast. Like, you know, the square-ish bread that you're thinking
Yeah.
of. If you say bread to a German, he will not think of that.
What will they think of?
Like round bread. Brown.
Like a baguette or like a roll or a
Not a baguette, that's a baguette. No, just like, I don't know, like a brown clump of dough.
bread.
Yeah, I guess.
That's just also bread. It's just a slightly different
Yeah,
shape.
but for us that's the only bread pretty much.
And then you have a special word for square bread.
Yeah, that's toast.
That's toast. Now, are you specifically calling out like white bread, or just any bread that's in a square?
Usually any bread in a square, like you would say to the browner bread in a square, you would say it's a full corn toast.
Full corn toast.
Yeah, full corn toast.
And I would just call that whole wheat bread, probably.
Oh yeah. Anyway, we have previous matches. White Panther playing Metal Storm, which was a pretty cool NES game about flipping. Wait, no, yeah, White Panther too, but I do mean DolorousFred. I had a lot of issues with that. So,
Yeah, the level design led them both astray. They started going backwards because it was like rolling around, like scrolling. We're tiling. What am I trying to say? It wraps around. The screen was wrapping around.
Oh yeah. I played it
vertically.
afterwards because it looked interesting, and I want to play more games that I think I would be bad at. And yeah, that level was so confusing. There's all these gates that flip around and they kill you instantly. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't think we got to see the gates do the instant kill during the race, but
Oh,
I knew it was a thing.
What the hell? And then also, like off note, this is Losers 2. DolorousFred got kind of good luck and got put into Losers 2, a loss. That's also kind of interesting. I should probably set a goal for this. I'm the one.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what what lets someone, the reason why they go straight to Losers 2 or whatever, like if it had something to do with who had a buy, don't know.
I think it's just because we have a non-power of 2 number of participants. It doesn't completely work out.
Something gets weird somewhere.
Yeah. But then after the first few rounds, like the first 2 rounds, it's back to normal, I think.
Marshmaster played Chess Former, which was very cool. It says it's like a platformer, it's in the name, but really it's a puzzle game. You're taking your time to think out all your moves.
It's a puzzle game where you fall down. That's what makes it like remotely platformer.
Yeah. The idea of adding gravity to a chessboard is all that the platformer part of it comes from. But it was cool. It was a cool little game, and won that match against Sparrowhawk, and then lost a match against Tetsuya in Super Castlevania 4. We casted that one pretty recently with the tilty room with the super misleading exit on the side of the room.
Which has no point to being there,
Yeah.
as far as I can tell.
And also, it just had like a life continue system that would be really, really punishing if you made mistakes in the wrong places.
Alright, I think we have a game. Let's check it out. It's a game most people would probably know. Have a look. Whoa.
It's Sonic the Hedgehog. Wait. He's in a car. So it's Sonic Racing, right? No. This is Sonic Robo Blast 2 Kart. Which, I actually don't know the full story behind this. Is this the Doom engine thing?
Yeah, this is... someone made Sonic in Doom Engine, and then someone made Mario Kart in Sonic in Doom Engine.
Yeah.
It's like that, which is crazy. But apparently it's a good game. I don't like kart racers, so I can't judge, but EPC swoons over this game.
People liked it. When it got put into Grand Prix, and it might have even been like a mystery tournament match before that or something. It's been received well. I don't think you can strafe run in a car though, unfortunately.
So I'm not super sure what the goal is. It says beat Ring Cup, Sneaker Cup, and Water Cup time trials. So how do we know which tracks are in which? Let's hope the Paceman says so.
Get ready! Go! That's straight out of Diddy Kong Racing.
Go?
No, I did the get ready, go. Like, that's what the like TT says in Diddy Kong Racing, but it's the like like when it first loaded up right away. I pulled that right out of my memory banks. That was wild. Put it in one of those sound effect quizzes. I would have got that one immediately. Slam dunk.
Okay, so the goal says time starts on pressing start on green hill zone, which both players did, so that's an improvement over like half the races we've seen. And then time ends on crossing the finish line on Pleasure Castle. So I think we're just doing all the tracks until we're on Pleasure Castle.
Yeah, I guess so. So there are items. This is time trials mode, so I'm guessing the items are not going to be like, here's a red shell.
Here's something you may run into next lap. No, it's always mushroom or speed shoes, I guess. Which doesn't make sense in a car, but whatever. Unless these are like Flintstone cars.
Both racers were on the same turn, but MarshMaster didn't take it quite as cleanly as DolorousFred. So this is probably going to be a really close match. Racing games are kind of like that, but you have to work really hard to get like a second in a racing game. So like even if they're separated by 30 seconds or whatever, like it's a meaningful 30 seconds.
So this was in the Mystery Grand Prix 2, like I said. And let me check. Leaderboards. Okay, so first 3 cups time trials, which seems to be what we're doing, right? Ring Cup, Sneaker Cup, Water Cup.
I think so.
Best time TPC, 31 minutes. And then the last time was a 40 minutes. So you can actually make up a lot of time.
Yeah, well, not too much time difference between the two players. Oh, you know what? So the thing about racing games is that the players will be very close in the race, but then you gotta like menu to the next track, and like if you mess up in a menu, like that's gonna, I don't know, if you have to like exit out of the track or whatever, that's like 15-20 seconds. It's really hard to make that up by driving better, so it always scares me when there's some menuing to be done.
Yeah, maybe you have to wait for the countdown before you can pause the game or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so synced. Should just
When they
make this
finished
net
the track, the first track, the finish went across DolorousFred's screen and then like reappeared on MarshMaster's screen. It was beautiful.
So you get this is double dash. You get boosts for drifting for a prolonged period of time. First is blue and then probably red. So they probably want to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I do want to... Double dash had the one where you wiggle left and right. And
Yeah, snaking.
like,
Terrible.
Yeah. Well, even just the sparks, like getting better sparks, was left right in that one. It was some other one where you just hold it. It's around the time I lost touch with Mario Kart.
I lost touch with Mario Kart after Super Mario Kart.
That game's not very good.
People say that, but I mean, I loved it.
It was probably good back then, but going back to play it, like it feels like the whole world is like moving around you in a really weird way instead of the car.
I know
moving.
what you mean. I know what you mean. Everything's like rotating on a weird point.
Yeah.
But the Paceman doesn't mention anything about drift boosting.
That's interesting. It does say to drift, but that's it.
You mean?
Oh yeah. Like
Pressing
it
RB.
has a button for drifting.
Yeah, RB to drift. All right. Why not? Drifters don't break.
Is this the only Doom engine kart game?
I mean, I've played like a Doom what where you suddenly drive like a Super Mario Kart 64 track. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was it wasn't quite in a cart though.
It was pretty close. I went really fast.
Yeah. You slipped on a banana and spun out.
That was good.
I had so much fun. There's a part where like I put a green shell like on a ramp that's like bouncing back and forth like ting 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 ting, like just like really unfortunate stuff that would happen to you in an actual Mario Kart race. Fun. I like these tracks are like vaguely inspired by other stuff. Whoop! There is a where DolorousFred I think is.
Whoa, where's
the
MarshMaster
shortcut?
going? Wait, MarshMaster's going the wrong way. All the CPU
No.
is going the other way.
Get the reverse, put it up. Oh, MarshMaster's going backwards through the thing that DolorousFred tried to shortcut through. Oh no.
Oh, well, DolorousFred just took the lead. Red Knuckles is in front of Green Knuckles. But Green Tails is leading the race in both cases.
Yeah, by a lot. Actually, they're pretty close if you look at the map. They're after all that, they're like on the same turn basically. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
MarshMaster took the whole extra loop. I'm surprised DolorousFred is barely ahead now.
Yeah.
They were not a good drift.
It's
Oh, yeah,
weird.
the
You want to like get
others
onto
are
the
just ghosts.
sidewalk to avoid the holes.
Oh, now where's MarshMaster going? Okay, this time managed to get it right. He's falling behind again.
Shred with a lead.
Yeah.
So the players have had to be managing their boosts from these item boxes, and obviously, like, you don't want to just hold on to the boost because if you get to the next item box and you still have it, you're just gonna waste
Whoa.
it. So you got to spend it somewhere. Whoa, where am I?
MarshMaster went to the beach. So, one interesting thing about these games, these kart racers, is boosting before jumps. Sometimes it's worth it, and sometimes it really isn't. Yesterday during the shuffler we played Konami Game Boy Advance kart racer, whatever. And if you boosted before a jump, you just went like, "Phew!" And you kept the boost the entire time in the air because you didn't slow down. That was worth
wow.
it. But then in Super Mario Kart, I can tell you, boosting before, like, boosters that are already on the track is usually not worth.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching Jorf and Midboss were playing some weird Wii racing game, and they were trying to figure out like when was a good way to boost, and it turned out boosting in the air was a bad idea. Uh-oh, DolorousFred spins out.
Oh, at the start?
Yeah. There's this oh, and there's a boost start from MarshMaster, so knows when to press that button. You never know in a kart racer if you're supposed to press it on 3, 2, or 1, or
it's
right
like-
at the last second, or...
It's like half a second before it starts, usually-ish. That's what it was yesterday as well.
Yeah, but then like in the latest Mario Kart, it goes like 3, 2, and then you want to hit it, and you want to hold it for like 2, 1, like the whole time your kart is revving up. It's different, man.
ID's asking how long this goal is. This goal is the same one as the one in the Mystery Grand Prix 2. It's gonna be between 31 minutes and 17 seconds and 40 minutes and 49 seconds. If they fall anywhere out of that, it's gonna be unexpected.
Yeah, Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart DS is around when I stopped playing Mario Kart. Oh, Marshmaster does get a boost. It finally does. I wonder if you can hit a button to stop the reels from going so you can get your item faster, because Marshmaster was waiting on it for a boost to go off a ramp. DolorousFred has spent 9 more seconds racing on this track, but is significantly further behind Marshmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks in part to that shortcut, I suppose.
Oh, DolorousFred also just took a shortcut.
Oh, Marsh missed it. I think wanted to like boost through the items to get a boost and then have the second item be a second boost for the shortcut.
DolorousFred has no chance. I mean, he's also not good, so... MarshMaster... Oh, wait, whoa! Oh no, what happened? MarshMaster closed the game, and is back in the right track now, but lost 10 seconds to it, or more even.
Oh man. A banger to rival that of Rising Zan.
Oh, it's just stupid. Daytona. I know this song.
Marshmaster finished the track before it crashed, though, right?
Yeah, there was a finish.
Okay.
I will count it.
Yeah, like we said, 10 seconds can really matter in a racing game.
I think
some sharp turns here.
We had something like, I don't know which game it was. It was like an NES platformer, and they got a level select code in case they game over. And one of the racers rebooted the game after every stage and just went to the level select because it was faster. And that turned out to be kind of a problem.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, obviously that's not what MarshMaster was going for, and if it was, it didn't really work because he lost 15 seconds.
Right. But apparently this song will get us DMCA'd, so we'll have to do our best to...
Oh, we have to talk over
sort
it?
of. Yeah, we have to keep talking.
Okay, yeah.
The whole time.
Oh god, that would be really annoying.
Just like, oh, I gotta stop, I gotta say something, I gotta...
Oh wow, he's racing.
Final lap now for Marshmaster. That's a relevant thing to say, but then the rest of this sentence is not. Whoa. Or just sing along to it.
I was thinking of putting game audio on a different track, but then you can't select like afterwards, right? You never know if there's gonna be DMCA song, like a DMCA song in the VOD. And what you want to do is have the option at the end to choose which track you want to use. But that's not really a thing. You can either always have like the track disabled or not. And okay, I can stop talking.
DolorousFred maintains a little bit of a lead, but with that retime, I don't know, they might be neck and neck. Just recite the cake song. Reluctantly crouched at the starting line. Engines pumping and thumping in time.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be Parappa the Rapper.
Oh, a song about cake.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry to get your hopes up.
Or maybe that Lazy Town song.
Oof.
This track has holes, which is to be expected from this dirigible, I guess.
I'm trying to find a way to make a joke.
Yeah, it's impossible to say dirigible without thinking of internet dirigible.
Of our resident dirigible. I'm like, yeah, I bet he's full of holes, and they're like, no, it doesn't. Not really. I don't know what that means.
Okay, how about like, oh wow, this dirigible really is in the clouds.
In the clouds. Take that. Got him. DolorousFred found a little shortcut there to sort of try to take back some of this lead that they've effectively lost. They started out, about 10 seconds ahead of MarshMaster on this track, but MarshMaster's now ahead.
Yeah, he fell in the hole. Don't fall in the hole.
If I was making this sort of game and I was just borrowing stuff from all kinds, like I had the Diddy Kong Racing intro jingle before the race started, then I would absolutely take F-Zero's "Yeah, the final lap" as you do the final lap. Everything for sure.
I only know SNES 0. Oh, actually, Dolores kind of caught up. I guess Marsh has the boost. Got the boost advantage.
Yeah, but it's also like
Oh wait, he's not even
should have
using
been
it.
much further ahead.
Oh, DolorousFred with the manuring. Ah, amazing!
What?
Takes the lead. I guess it loads a little bit. Man, DolorousFred, like that was a pit stop 2 seconds faster than MarshMaster.
Yeah, I guess we can think of it that way. I really like the crowd. They put a lot of sprites into the crowd, all moving like at their own. They're not all in phase or whatever, you know.
Oh yeah, that always looks weird, like in FIFA games.
Yeah. This is a tough course. The players got the map, but DolorousFred, for example, just wasn't able to react to what was going on.
This grass is so slow. But why do they use karts anyway? In Sonic R, they just kind of run.
Yeah, it's I don't know. People felt weird about it because it's like
It is weird.
yeah, it's like it's a racing, like I don't know. Everyone's used to cars. Just seeing a guy running.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I guess you also run in the... Oh, you don't even know this game, Sonic Mania. You haven't even played that one. You also run in that. It's kind of like a racetrack.
Everyone runs except Amy, who just drives a car. That's funny.
Does Robotnik run? Or Eggman, I guess.
Is he playable?
I thought he went into his little Eggmobile.
That's what I would have done if I was making my Sonic racing game. Final lap for MarshMaster. DolorousFred just now reaching that final lap, so it's fallen back a little bit further again.
But he's got the manuring down. His team is carrying him. The pit stops. But yeah, it's actually pretty, like, huge how much faster MarshMaster is driving.
Nice shortcut over some of the grassy terrain with the boosts. Marshman's pretty good about finding good places to use those boosts.
But you gotta be careful. You drive across grass. Oh, like DolorousFred, Did you hear that?
Heard something.
That was very loud.
I wasn't sure where it was coming from.
I think it came from MarshMaster's stream.
Okay.
Oh! Dead. Oh, it's, Wait, what is this? Oh, it's a hilltop zone.
Yeah. Whoa. MarshMaster gets got by the course.
But that's a lead change.
They're very, very close, though. I'm not really used to blind racing games. There aren't too many of them that get submitted, but there were a couple this time, so I've gotten a little bit of practice at that. And some of them don't have maps, and I hate that. I hate that a lot.
Yeah.
The map is so important.
Yeah, it was a topic in Racing GP at some point, how often you look at the map, and I always have it like in my peripheral vision. I'm always aware if a left or a right turn is coming up.
Mm. And how sharp it is.
Yeah, and what's after it maybe too. It was especially important in... Oh, it's a game I tested and didn't submit. Initial D special stage for the PS2.
Okay.
Like, that's a game where it's really important to know what's coming up.
I like what the players do sometimes with they're not actually using boost. I think what it is, actually, it's their drift boost. But if they drift and they end up kind of like off course, they hold the drift long enough until they have a boost, and then they use the boost to like get back on the track across the grass.
Oh, MarshMaster's going in the weird shortcut. Oh, did you see that?
Oh,
It perfectly matched up.
perfect. Which unfortunately does mean that DolorousFred has a little bit of a lead. But the menuing this time, the pit crew picking up
what
the
the
pace
hell?
for MarshMaster.
Wow. Back in the day, you could say, oh, they only needed to change the tires and not refuel, but nowadays they no longer refuel. In Formula 1 at least.
Yeah. I'm trying to... This map is like pulling at some kind of video game memory, the track here, and I can't figure out what it is.
I mean, it's...
Whoa. Okay,
Oh, yeah, this
DolorousFred
is
just
funky.
like drove past there's like a loop, and you choose left or right, and DolorousFred went one way, and then was about to just keep going around the donut.
Oh. Yeah.
So did you play this in Racing Grand Prix?
I played this in... Do you want to know my time? I did not do very well because I don't play kart racers. Oh, never mind,
Sure.
I got 4th. 34 minutes.
Okay. Do you remember if it's harder when you drive in the water? Or is it about the same?
I don't think the physics change.
Okay.
This jump that is like at the end of this fork, where it connects again, and here the ones MarshMaster is doing. You gotta like drift around the corner really weirdly. And I had problems with that, but they don't, so...
MarshMaster managed to get the camera like on the other side of the wall and saw into the ether for a little bit.
Into the gliding ether.
Racers beginning their final lap. MarshMaster started out with a tiny little bit of a lead thanks to a menu advantage, but has since built on it.
And MarshMaster is just drifting more cleanly.
Mm-hmm. Bonked into the wall, but it seemed to work out pretty good. Oh, this is funny. I see how they did the fish tank aquarium effect as someone who's like done Doom mods and stuff.
Is it
The
just
way-
a backside of a wall?
It's like you leave it untextured, and Doom treats it differently as if it had a regular texture, and you get a cool effect when you do that.
So it just draws the background.
Kinda, yeah. And I think they set like a separate background for that part of the level or something. I think that's a thing you can do. For more fancy versions. Anyway.
Whoa!
Whoa! Whoa!
Where's MarshMaster going?
Oh my god, that was either amazing or terrible, right? And I can't tell.
Oh no, you gotta crash into the building and then it goes up.
Of course.
Oh no, no, this is not the way, MarshMaster. MarshMaster doesn't want to crash into the building for some reason.
I can't blame him.
Yeah,
That
that's
seems
weird.
like exactly what you're supposed to avoid.
Oh, he's doing it. Oh, but that's like 20 seconds lost.
Yeah, that's really big. We might see Fred like actually in the lead now, considering there's this 10-ish second retime.
So like in the racing GP, there were games where you can fail and games where you can't fail. Because it's time trial. And there's the time differences pretty much reflect that. This is a game where you can't fail. There's only 9 minutes. There were other games where it's like 2 hours difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even testing, there was another Grand Prix game that got tested for this mystery tournament where times varied between testers by like 15, 30 minutes. DolorousFred, oh, barely holding on around the outside of the turn.
Good lead though.
Only 2 laps on this one. So I recently tested a racing game that had like a lot of laps. It was like 5 laps on every track. And it was kind of interesting that like spending more time with a track, you got to know all of the turns a little bit better. Like by the 3rd lap, you're still not perfect here. But like by the 5th lap, you're a little bit closer to perfect, I think.
Oh, it's just 2.
Yeah, this one's really big.
I think there's one that is like Mario Kart new ones where it's just one long track.
Mm-hmm. Oh, DolorousFred cutting it really close.
Looking cool though. Okay, never mind.
It's tough. The screen share is a little blurry, so I can't tell sometimes when they're over like a glass floor. It just looks like they're driving on the air for a little bit. And I was like, I watched DolorousFred do that, and I was like, oh, he's fine. And then he went again, and I was like, yeah, no, it's just glass, right? And then he fell into a pit. Oh, okay.
Oh, MarshMaster
Alright.
did the exact same thing.
So with menuing in mind, there's already 12 seconds into this race for DolorousFred, right? So we're gonna see how much. Like I'm gonna say it took like 2 seconds to menu, I guess.
There's like the loading, and you have to go up and down, change the level.
Okay. So it's like 4 seconds, maybe 5. That's like 39 seconds ahead. Minus 10 for the retime, a 29-second lead for DolorousFred.
Yeah.
Got some lyrics on this song.
Oh no, wrong way! Don't.
Oh, not the lava!
That was close. Oh, this track is really short.
Oh, there's the lava for MarshMaster.
I mean, at least you're not permanently dead.
Alright, the track's gonna split. DolorousFred goes left. It's the way they went the first time, I think. It's one of those things where, like, I don't know, maybe one way's better and maybe you experiment and try both, but probably it's better to just do the one you know.
Yeah, like if you do both, then you got 1 lap where you can use it, maybe.
Right.
But then if you do it 3 times, you got 2 laps where you can improve the way you did the single track.
So marginal, but it's just like, I don't know, in terms of like strategy you can employ, there's just so rare an opportunity to do anything that I jump on any little opportunity left or right. What is it?
Oh, he's going the other way now.
Lots of bonks for DolorousFred.
Yeah, I think Marsh is catching up.
Finish. It was a 2:18, I think. MarshMaster just blew through some kind of obstacle.
Good drifts. 2-5.
Wow, made up 13 whole seconds on that track.
I think we're getting close to the end.
I think you're probably right. That was, yeah, Water Cup track 2. I don't know how many are in each track or each cup, but we are on the final cup.
Ooh. Spend a long while on that penalty.
That's absolutely a Doom lift.
What's the Doom lift?
It's a floor that goes up, but like just something about the speed at which it moved, I'm just like, yeah, no, that's Doom. It's funny, the little artifacts when you know the engine off by heart. All right, DolorousFred, left or right? Goes right.
Marsh, don't do this to me. catch up. Maybe Marsh is actually a little further ahead than we think. Oh, Marsh is taking the lead right now.
Yeah, Fred fell off on one of these jumps. Surprisingly back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, you know, normally racing games, one person's just better at the racing game, and then they just slowly pull ahead more and more.
It just builds and builds.
In this case, it was like a track by track. Like there were just like some gotchas, and the different players got by the different gotchas.
The last track is gonna have something like that. The last track has a pretty big gotcha.
Looks like MarshMaster gave up on taking that lift. I think I agree. It didn't seem very helpful. It was like you go far outside. Like you're taking the outside lane as well as dealing with this weird moving element. Why? Uh-oh. Not good stuff from MarshMaster. DolorousFred takes the lead.
Oh, was it something? Actually, I mean, looking at the cheat, it says it was sub by TPC. Oh, the sync!
Wow.
But it didn't do the cool thing where the finish went across both screens.
No. They were too in sync, unfortunately.
I don't remember this track.
I remember this song from somewhere. What is this?
It's probably some 3D Sonic I haven't.
Mega Man 6, Plant Man. Wow. I never would have been able to pull that out. Andy's too good. I've played a lot of music guessing games with Andy. He's savage. MarshMaster's been pretty savage in terms of racing.
I made that pretty equal.
Yeah, but MarshMaster, first of all, has 10 seconds further ahead than he appears, and also just got so screwed up by the weird map with the building.
I mean, he's got 10 seconds if it crashed. Maybe for some reason he pressed escape and then it closed or something. Then again, in that case, that's also maybe... doesn't say in the base bin anything about it.
Oh, it actually says the name of the song on screen. I can barely read any of the text. It's pretty blurry. Final lap for MarshMaster. Final lap for DolorousFred.
Dolores just isn't drifting.
Dolores.
Is it not?
I think Dolores is how you would say a woman's name, and Dolorous, I think, is... Well, actually,
How does the spelling differ?
How do you say that word? This, you would not have a U in Dolores. Dolores' name. But I just realized, like, maybe it doesn't sound like I think it sounds. And I shouldn't be so confident. Dolorous, okay, I am right. MarshMaster finishes the track, is menuing.
There's 3 tracks left.
Okay.
I think. Wait, no, no, oh, this is the really long one.
Still 3 laps though, huh? Oh my god, look at the map, that's crazy.
It's not 3 laps, it's like in Mario Kart, where there's like a checkpoint in the middle suddenly.
Okay.
Which I think is really cool. It's that really long, like, downhill snow level.
Yeah, I like the feeling of, like, when you're driving around in a circle, you kind of get the feeling, even though it's going to snake left and right, that you are still going in a circle. Like, you're literally not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But when a track could just goes in one direction or whatever, you feel like you're going somewhere.
Like initially, no laps
Yeah.
on that. Oh, mashing the button to get the boost as soon as possible because he was stuck on the penalty cement.
Yeah, I remember we were wondering if that was a thing earlier on.
The Sonic Spring sound is so iconic.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Like you could recognize it anywhere.
The Genesis was really good about really like crunchy sort of sounds.
No chance. Alright, 2 tracks left. No, it's 1 track left. This is the last one. Pleasure Castle. This one's really annoying. Because you drift out at the start. No, because... so at the top left of the map there's this circle. And it's like this... It's like in Super Mario 64, the Ghost House roundabout, kind of. It's like that.
Okay.
And sometimes you get stuck in it, and it sucks. Ah, got out of it.
Nice. So this is, you know, potentially 10 seconds plus whatever
Whoa.
the lead. Whoa.
Well, but I mean, this removes it for the next lap, so maybe not terrible if you just go the same way.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know if I would assume that it would not respawn the next time I got here. I would be looking for it, I guess.
I think they don't respawn. Having played this, I remember running into them all the time.
And then, like, after they were all gone, you couldn't run into them anymore.
Yeah, it was great. Also, did you just hear a noise from MarshMaster's stream? Oh, he tried to go the other way, but there's these things, and now he's stuck.
Oh,
This sucks.
you meant I thought you meant like Mario Kart 64, and I was like, there's a ghost house in that, but I don't remember any
No,
circles.
Super Mario 64.
You meant the carousel.
Yeah. So, Dolores
Dollars.
has caught up a bit.
A little bit.
But, so, MarshMaster, there was like a sound in the background, and that one guy actually done like, around that time, like 10 seconds earlier, which could match up with the stream delay. Do you think MarshMaster has a warning for when people say done?
I don't know. I didn't hear the sound. Maybe. Oh, we just saw another finish.
What do you mean, typical Maurice? What did I say? Oh, there was another sound!
Oh.
So, MarshMaster just has a noise when people done, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, with a racing game, you gotta know people are coming in. There's the finish from MarshMaster. Focus lost as they go to type in the done. 37:52 is the final time. 38 is going to be the final time from DolorousFred. So, very, very close race, as you would expect in a racing game, but we saw a spread of more than this during Racing Grand Prix, so well done to these players.
What these noises in the background?
In the classic battle of Artichoke versus Fuchsia, it looks like Artichoke has come out on top.
Because green won?
Yeah, that was actually the names of their the shades of their colors.
The palette.
So we've got both players in here now. It's going to be chaos. I'm going to say hello, and you're not going to know who I'm talking to. Hello.
Hello, Mythical9. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you, Fred? We can't hear you if you're talking. It's not going to be chaotic at all.
Well,
I did see the mute and unmute.
okay,
Oh,
now.
Hello.
Sorry, forgot to flick a switch.
There it is.
Happens.
You guys were really close.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
noticed. That was,
And it
what,
was
2 seconds or something?
8 seconds.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Still.
yeah. Though we were debating if we would have to retime a little. It looked like you like closed the game at one point, MarshMaster.
Yeah, I had a game crash. I managed to recover pretty quickly, but that was a thing that happened.
Yeah. So we were trying to keep in the back of our minds, like maybe we're gonna have to add another 10 seconds or something, but it was close, and it was like back and forth in a surprising way, right? Like we normally in a racing game, like one person is just kind of better and pulls further and further ahead, but there was just like some of the tracks would just like curve and you wouldn't be ready for the turn and you would go way off, and you know that would be a lead change.
Yeah.
There were some tracks that were definitely a little harder on me.
Likewise. I think that one on the rooftops I had a lot of trouble with.
Oh, that was terrible.
It was worse for MarshMaster. That
Yeah, I would get back on the track and go immediately off the track again, and I just.
That part with all the jumps, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I lost that right on the last track. Like, what was with that merry-go-round thing?
Yeah. That tripped me up too.
Yeah, when the music started, that really startled me.
That too.
yeah, Maurice played this in the racing Grand Prix, so he one of the things he remembered about the game was like he was like, look at the map, see that circle? That thing sucks.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So how was the game overall? I'm sure you guys realize, like, you know, the story of this game. It's like a Doom engine kart racer with, you know, borrowed elements from all kinds of various video games. But it seems like it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. I've played a lot of, racing games that were a lot worse than that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys had fun. This was unfortunately an elimination match, so by just 8 seconds, which I mean, racing games are going to be close, but still 8 seconds is very close. So it was a tight, well fought match, but this is the end of your run, unfortunately,
Right
in
until
Mystery
the
Tournament
last
16.
second.
So how was Mystery Tournament 16 overall for you, Fred?
Well, I lost twice again.
Dan.
That's not surprising. I don't really expect anything when I start this, but at least the one was close. That one.
Yeah, I think there's an alternate universe out there where it was 8 seconds the other way.
Definitely.
Well, there's going to be, more races going on for other people's matches, and I think everyone knows that like anyone can join these races, but I think there's a lot of people who are hesitant to join in on someone else's race, but it's totally allowed for everyone to come in and have a bunch of fun with the stuff that gets pulled.
And honestly, I was a lot more satisfied with this game than with Castlevania, so that's always a plus.
I'm sure whoever worked on this is really happy to hear that. I want to do the thing where I look up the bracket and see who you're gonna fight next. When it's a lot of clicks away.
Yeah, I think I remember looking it up beforehand. I fight the winner of Saiho and
Yoki Desu.
Yoki Desu. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see it now. So we'll see. If I had to pick, Saiho's pretty good at a couple different things. So maybe likely to be your next opponent, but you never know with Mystery Tournament.
Yep. As always, it is a mystery.
It's a mystery when we're gonna have our next match. Actually, that's not true. We have a schedule for those things.